Tired of the 9 to 5 and want to build a business with a life you love? This episode flips the script on traditional business planning. Hi, I'm Holly. I'm a business strategist, and I help you build a life priorities focused first business without relying on the social media algorithm. And inside this episode, we're going to explore a 3-step approach to building a successful business, including a rock solid foundation, can't talk today, scalable options, and helping you believe in the magic. So everything from defining your core values and mission to creating an offer suite and understanding your numbers to incorporating fun, community, and a celebration to build a sustainable, joyful business. If you're ready to ditch the burnout and embrace a business filled with freedom and fun, then tune in to the full episode. On this episode of the Crush the Rush podcast, we're digging into future-proofing your business, which basically means how do you create a business model that is going to last the long term? I'm talking 5, 10 plus years. And so I feel like when we approach the end of the year, we start questioning, like, what are we doing? How are we doing it? What's working? What's not working? And we've gone through a ton of planning exercises in the last couple episodes, really thinking about how to design your dream team, things that you might want to do if you're considering going into entrepreneurship full time. And now really looking into like, what does that long-term strategy look like for you? So when I was sitting down to write this episode, my goal was to share what we're doing behind the scenes to run a lean business, a small team, low expenses with a big impact. But I looked at my notes and opened them. Do you know what they said? They said more travel, less launches. So apparently those are my goals for 2025 in a very fashion, right? Like that's really what we're aiming for. But I share this because I think at the end of the year, there are some really strategic things you can do to help set your business up for success. But also you kind of have to lean into the magic of it a little bit. Like, yes, I want more travel. Yes, I want to launch less. How does that even happen? I don't know, but you got to believe that it's going to. So over the last few episodes, like I said, I've given you a peek into our planning processes. And so that's definitely a tool in our toolkit and really thinking about what worked, what didn't, what I want to do differently. And then we've also layered in a few other strategies, which I want to cover today. So the first strategy for future-proofing your business is check the foundation, right? So I always give the example of a house. And we always want to do the exciting things first, which is decorate, buy the curtains, have the welcome party. But you really need to make sure that foundation is solid. Because if you, let's say, use the wrong cement or the wrong wood to build the foundation of your house, it's going to sink. And so for me, this means asking, what are your core values? And your core values should really guide every decision you're making in the next year. So they should be like the North Star that keeps you on track. Especially when you have to make hard decisions of should I do something? Should I invest in something? And so I like to think of them as your moral compass. And when you think about how to define your core values, I like to think about 3 different things. The first one is self-reflection. So this is the time of year to slow down and really reflect. What really matters to you the most, right? What are your passions, your beliefs? What makes you you? What makes you stand out? Number 2 is identify your why. And I like to use the 7 why approach. So why did you start your business? Because I wanted to put my kids on the bus. Why did you want to put your kids on the bus? Because I think it's important that they see both parents and not just one when they're leaving and starting their day, right? Why is that important to you? So you can sort of see, if you can answer this 7 times, you are really getting into the crux of why this is important. And then ask yourself, what problem are you solving? When you think about who is coming to hire you, what problem are you solving for them? And what impact do you want to make, right? It is more than making money, at least for me. Of course, we want to be profitable, but what impact do you want to make? I have written on our board that we want to help 100 families a year design their dream schedule. That looks different for every single client that I help, but I know that if I'm helping the business owner, I'm helping their family. And so to me, that is what gets me excited because I know that we're making a bigger impact when it comes to the future generation. So number 2, know your why. Number 3, choose your values. What is important to you when it comes to your personal and professional goals? This is going to help you make decisions on who to hire, what's important. Are you going to do this activity or not do this activity? Some of the ones that are the most popular are like integrity, honesty, creativity, innovation, compassion. For me, it's creativity. I love to have fun and be creative, but it's also integrity. I want to make sure that the people that I hire and the people that I work with are honest, and we call it heart-centered on our team, and have the same goal that I have, right? To help other families, to help other women, to design that dream schedule. So here's what your core values could look like in action if you're taking notes. Integrity would be always being honest and transparent with your clients and your team. Creativity would be encouraging innovation and thinking outside the box. Compassion, that heart-centered promise, right? Like treating others with kindness and understanding. And then perseverance. There's got to be a little bit of grit, right? Like pushing through the challenges and never giving up. So it's really important that when you check the foundation of your business, right, the first step that we're talking about, that you think about your core values, because you're going to be able to make decisions that align with your beliefs and honestly create a business that you're proud of. So think about that. But also these can change over time, right? So we want to make sure that we have this in place, this process in place to revisit it. And so this is a great time of year to check your mission, which we talk about in episode 344, which is where I came up with to change 100 families' lives. And honestly, this is going to drive you every single day. This is the one thing that you don't want to waver on, and you want to check everything against it. And so for us to change 100 families' lives, it's where that life priorities-based business model came from. And instead of let's help women build businesses online, which is awesome, like what if the focus was, I want to help women be more present in what they love to do by building a business model that supports that. So there's a really big difference in having that foundation. And this is the lens that you're going to go through every single time. So that's step number 1 for future-proofing your business. Step number 2 is build a model that is scalable. So if we were going to sit at our kitchen table after the girls got on the bus, this is the question that I ask my husband all the time. Like, what levers do we pull? What's the lever that we're pulling right now to help more families? And so it sounds kind of cheesy when you think of like revenue and scaling inside your business, but you should have more than one option to choose from. You should have different levers that you're able to pull at different times based on your schedule, who you want to help, what your goals are, and what your clients are asking for. And so this is actually where my income stacking model comes in. If you go to hollymariehaynes.com/profit, you can grab the full workshop for free. But this is step number 2 in future-proofing your business. You need to have that offer suite that gives you different options at different times. And so the question remains, if you look at your goals and you look at your schedule and you look at your ideas, what levers can you pull to achieve it? Do you launch? Do you lean into affiliates? Do you work with partners? Do you take a break? Do you hire someone, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago? Do you delegate more? Do you completely pivot and focus on something different? If you have that foundation in place, which is step number 1, it's so much easier to pull these different levers because the foundation never changes. And so this is the key to having a scalable business, because it's not just one option. Not everyone in your audience fits into one box. So we want to think about the different options that we have. And I kind of like to think of it as the reason that in almost every city, there's like a CVS and a Walgreens on every corner right next to each other, because people like options. So when your clients say no, it's actually no, not right now. And then you can say, I totally understand. This can help you based on where you're at. And so we want to make sure that we position ourselves to have a business that has different options so that you can pull the right lever and position yourself as someone that has the solution. So how do you do this? Well, you need an offer suite, and the Income Stacking Masterclass will help you walk through that and know your numbers. And if you're 100% focused on something that is not helping you get to your goals, then it's time to pivot and pull a different lever, which is exactly where this strategy comes into play. Different things work at different times. It might be time to package a product differently. It might be time to try something new. It might be time to change your prices. It might be time to update your messaging or get in front of new audience. And so there's so much strategy in this step. But number 2 is a great question to ask. And that is, what levers are you pulling to build a model that is scalable? which leads to step number 3, and that is believe in the magic. So how do you keep going in business for a long time? You have to believe, right? And part of that is mindset, but the other part of that is incorporate fun, incorporate play, incorporate community. And I always say that I did not create a business on my own to feel like I was working 9 to 5 every day. Like I am on a mission to make it fun and make a big impact. So my question to you is what does fun in business look like to you? How can you incorporate more connection, more community, more magic, right? If you personally were not meant to build a business just sitting behind a laptop and not talking to anyone. Even if you're an introvert, you've got to have some kind of interaction and fun and something that inspires you. You were meant to use your voice. You were meant to experience life, and you were meant to celebrate, which brings me to the last piece of bringing in the magic, and that is celebrate every single week. So I shared this in my newsletter a couple weeks ago, but I completely skipped Thanksgiving decor this week. I took down all of our pumpkins and went all out with sparkle lights. And for me, it's always been like a strict, like, don't celebrate one holiday before the other and let every holiday have its moment. I'm like a very fair person. I like everything to be in its box, but then some things changed and I was like, why am I holding back? I love the holidays. I love decorating. It's like my favorite things to do. And so I was like, I'm just doing it. I'm just going all in. And so it got me thinking, because when I was working in corporate, I would get to the end of the week and I would literally just fall over of like exhaustion, like no energy left. I couldn't think. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't function. I was tired. We had 2 like really little girls. And I was like, man, I just want Fridays to be more magical. Those are the words that I used. And I needed some sort of excitement at the end of the week. So now this is actually part of our business model, part of the magic. Like, what is a celebration that you can do at the end of every week? Not just, oh, I took a deep breath and be like, oh, I survived. It's more like, what am I celebrating? Because not only did I get through the week, but I am thriving. And just in case you're a data person, this step, number 3, in future-proofing your business is scientifically proven. So you are 71% more successful with your to-do list. Insert the things that you actually need to do when you celebrate at the end. So plan something really fun and exciting and incorporate more of that, because that is a fact. 71% more successful is I can stand by, right? So I just want you to think today of these 3 tips when you go into the new year of how to future-proof your business. Really think about, number 1, check the foundation of your business. Number 2, build a model that is scalable. Which levers can you pull in that product suite? And number 3, believe in the magic. Like, really think about the celebrations and how can you celebrate the really small things. So what if you just paused today and celebrated the goodness around you, the amazing women, the twinkling lights, the fact that you didn't just make it through this week, but you thrived. Like, I want you to do this every single week. But also think of a business model that's going to last the long term. Make sure your foundation is strong, that you've got the bones to hold everything up, even when there's lots of changes. Think about how you can pull different levers to scale at different times, the product suite, the messaging, the client attraction, basically your strategy to help your clients get what also help you get exactly what you need, which PS, we cover all of this in the collective co-op, which closes at the end of this month. So don't miss your application for the last time this year. And then finally, bring the magic, right? Like, what does the magic mean to you? Community, fun, play. Remember to celebrate your wins. And you know the saying, right? Like, enjoy your journey, but let's make it really fun. So I hope this makes you excited about a business model that's going to stand the test of time.